All right, so welcome back. I hope you're still with us and eager to see how this thing work here, okay? Great. So in the previous video, we were able to create our custom list view and we finalized it. So now it's returning our view. Now we're ready to go into our main activity and tie everything up. The first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and get our string lists of items that we're going to be displaying. So I'm going to just go ahead and copy and paste here all of these strings that we're going to be using, all of the data. So as you can see here, we have our book titles string array, and we have a book pages and authors and this thumbnail, which we're not going to be using, so I'm going to get rid of that. Okay, so this is what we're going to be using to populate our list view. And of course, in a real world app, we would be getting all this information from, say, a web server or an API. Okay, and we'll talk more about that, about HTTP requests and JSON and how to consume data from server, from the webs, from the internet. Okay, all right. So, but for now, this will do it. Okay. So now that we have that, let's go ahead and create a few instance variables here. So private list view. We're going to call this list view. Okay, and then private custom list view adapter. We're going to call this custom list view adapter. That's fine. This is a reference to our custom list view adapter we've just finished putting together. We're going to go ahead and create our data array list. So we're going to say array list, and of course it's going to take a hash map. So hash map, and this hash map is going to have a string key, and the value is going to also be a string type. And let's call this author list is equal to new array list. Excellent. All right, now we're going to say for int I is equal to 0, I is less, we're going to say is less than 10, okay? Say I plus plus. And now what are we going to be doing here? We're going to go ahead and create our hash map. So we're going to say hash map. Of course, it's going to be a string and also a string there. So call it data is equal to new hash map. Okay, so essentially we're creating a hash map which will then be able to use and insert into our array list that we've just created here, the author list. That's all we're doing here. Okay, so now that we have our hash map, we can just say data, which is this variable here, this our hash map dot put. Okay, our string is going to be our key, string key is going to be title. And what the value is going to be? Well, we can say then book titles and then insert an I. So where does this book titles come from? Well, this book titles we've defined here. Again, it's an array. We can see that because there's this 2 square brackets here. Okay. And we're saying here, so what's happening here? The first time this loop runs, it's going to be 0 because I is going to be 0, which means book titles is going to be the first one here. So it's going to be the alchemist. The second time it runs around, it's going to be 1, which means our book title is going to be the giver. Okay, that's all we're doing. Excellent. So the next thing we're going to do, we're going to say data dot put. And of course, this time it's going to be pages. Values is going to be coming from book pages. Of course, we put an I there so that we can iterate through. So data.put, again, the key is going to be author. And we're going to call this authors. I think that's what we called. And put an I. At the end, we take this author list. We can say then author list dot add, and then we add our hash map data here. Once we have filled out our data, our hash map here, we just take then that hash map and insert it inside of our array list author list here. So once all of that is done outside of our for loop here, we can then say instantiate our list view. So it's equal to list view, there we go. It's a find view by ID r.id.list, right? So now what are we doing here? We are going and getting our list here, this list view, and then we setting up adapter and use our custom adapter, right? So we can say custom list view adapter, because remember here we have created our instance variable here, and we're going to say is equal to new custom list view adapter. And notice we have a few things we need to pass in order for this to work. The first thing is the context. In this case, we can say get application context, and the next is the array list of objects of data. In this case, we'll just be author list. And the last thing we're going to do, we're going to just have a click event listener to our list view. So we say list view dot set on item click listener, okay, and say new on item click listener, just enter. All right, so the first thing we're going to do here, let's say int. I'm going to say then and position, my position is equal to position. So all I'm doing here is just transferring, taking this position that it's being passed in through the on item click and putting our int my position variable here. That's all, nothing really special here. And then we're going to create a string that will hold our item clicked. So string, we can say item clicked ID is equal to list view dot get item at position, and inside we pass in int position. So we can say my position. Now, oh, we have a problem. Well, because we're saying this is a string and this get item position returns an integer. So we need to say to string to convert whatever is being returned from our list view into string, so that then we are able to pass on into our item clicked. Now we're ready. We can say toast.make text get application, because that's application context, because we need to pass that in. And then we can say item ID clicked. And then we can append, say item clicked. And then we can say toast long, and then don't forget to show it. All right. Let's go ahead and give it a run and see how things would look like. Okay, so run. It's running. With any luck, we should get something here. So it looks like nothing is showing here. Well, it turns out I forgot to do something very crucial. Well, I did create here this custom list view adapter. However, I did not set that into our list view. All right, so if you just create it and don't set the list view and add that adapter, then nothing is going to show. So to fix that, we can say list view dot set adapter, and we add the adapter. So it's going to be custom list view adapter. All right, so very common mistake. So and as you can see, there's no errors. Okay, so now you know. Let's go ahead and give it a try. Give it a few minutes, few seconds here. All right, let's see. It's running. There's one thing I forgot to add. The get count here, it has to return the book's size. For now, it's returning 0. So that's a problem. So that's the reason why we are seeing this white screen here, which is not what we desire to see. So these things happen, and I'm leaving this here. I'm not editing this part because I want to make sure that you understand that sometimes, you forget things and errors happen. So, but it's easy to fix. So what are we going to do here? This get count has to get the count of our books array. So what we do here is we just say books dot size and save that, and let's make sure everything else is looking good. All right, I think it's always good. Let's give it another try here. So run. So this time it should give us something. All right, let's go ahead and okay. And there it is. Very cool. Look at that. We've got our custom view working perfectly. I love it. I really like it. It's very nice. We can go ahead and click here because I click this one. Click this one here. It gives you the IDs. And one of the things that we need to change is this icon here. Let's go ahead and put an image. I'm going to go ahead and go to Drawables here, folder, right click. And I'm going to go and say reveal in Finder. Perfect. So I've got both here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this blue swirl here PNG and copy that and go to Drawables here and then Control V, and there it is. Perfect. And I'm going to go back to our custom list view adapter, and I'm going to reference to that. Okay, so set that. There we go, blue swirl. All right, so we save that and let's run one more time. All right, now it's running. Let's take a look. And there you have it. All right, it's looking good. Some issues here with the text, but that's okay. You can figure that out. Very nice. Our image is showing here perfectly, and we can tap on this and you can see ID clicked. Very, very cool. Congratulations. As you can see, it took us a little bit of time to get to this point, but of course I wanted to make sure you understood every step of the way, so that's one of the reasons why I made it a little bit longer, divided this lecture into 3, I think. So but just keep in mind, the first time you do these things, it's always hard because you don't know how these things work, or there's a lot of moving parts, and it's very easy to feel intimidated. I want you to just relax a little bit and know that we will keep doing this, and you will have a really good grasp on how to really create your own custom list views. It's very, very powerful. As you can see, you can do a lot of other things with it. You can change colors, you can add more text views, you can add images, there's a lot of things we can do with customized items, with being able to customize our own adapters. So it's a really great thing. And just go ahead and look at things and play around with it. As always, once you have created your own version of this list view, just take screenshots and post on our discussion board there, right? Just share with the world, and you should be very proud of your accomplishments so far. Thank you again, and I'll see you in the next video.